Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, which is new from William Hill. It's 18 plus, gambleaware.org. I'm Sam Ellard. And as always, Lee Phelps from William Hill is here. We are going to a freshly shaven Lee Phelps, by the way, from William Hill is here to go game by game into this weekend's Premier League action. Is that the new shave in anticipation, Lee, for a massive Sunday of talkSPORT Goals, which includes the big one up in Scotland?
Yeah, the William Hill Scottish Premiership is alive. You know, people are even talking about Motherwell now joining the race, but it's a 3-horse race, and we've got the two of the biggest horses going head to head, haven't we? High noon on Sunday. 12 till what? 6:30.
6:30. Whenever it's done.
Easy.
Whenever it's done.
6.5 hours in that studio. It's not work, is it, Sam?
It's much better than a proper job. That's what we say here at talkSPORT Towers. Lee, let's go game by game, shall we? Then, as we always do every single Thursday in the Premier League. We start Wolves Aston Villa Friday 8 p.m. Villa third. Just 2 wins though and 7 in the league. They're 5 behind City, but just 6 ahead of Liverpool in 6th. Wolves have won 4 of their last 6 Premier League home games against Aston Villa, but for Aston Villa, despite being in poor form and a couple of injuries, probably a game they'll be looking forward to, Lee, to try and get back to winning ways in the league.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the idea that Wolves' form has turned around doesn't really bear out. I mean, look, the playing and the fighting, aren't they? Absolutely. But since beating West Ham on January the 3rd, they've picked up 4 points from a possible 32. So, you know, look, admittedly, there's some tough games in there. But they scored against Arsenal and Chelsea at home. So, like I say, they are fighting. I can give them a goal here, and that's kind of what the formation of my bet's going to be. I think after Villa's wretched start to the season, they've only lost 2 league away games in 11 at Arsenal and at Liverpool. So it's a Villa win and both teams to score for me. Nice and simple, 27-10, so a bit under 3-1, but I think that's a fair enough price for Villa to win and giving Wolves a goal.
Let's go then, shall we, to Saturday, 12:30. Bournemouth, Sunderland. Only Manchester United are on a longer run of unbeaten Premier League matches than Bournemouth, which is 7, winning 4 and drawing 3. Bournemouth up to 8th. They're just 2 behind Brentford, who have rightly so had lots of praise this season, while Sunderland not in good form. Sunderland have lost their last 3 Premier League games. That's as many as they had in their previous 12. Certainly, the recent form guide here, Lee, would suggest a home Bournemouth victory here. Hard to look past that. Yeah,
just a touch of odds on 4-5. The draw's 13-5, and Sunderland are 3-1. I know it tips over the 3-1 mark, which we've said all season. if a team's away from home and they're playing, look, I get it. I think my estimated safety line is 38 points. So Bournemouth are there already. Sunderland are on 36. Bournemouth, like that run they're on, I think only Man United can have exceeded theirs, like 10 unbeaten. It's brilliant. It's almost like they keep doing it on the quiet.
But Bournemouth this season, Lee, are either really, really, really good, really, really, really bad, and now they've become really, really good again. There's nowhere in between with Bournemouth, is there?
No, absolutely. And I think there's a few teams like that. I'll come on to Brighton a little bit later on. But you look at Sunderland, you know, that winless run, 8 games now, only Leeds and Wolves, longer ongoing winless streaks on the road in the English top flight. It's an interesting one. Got to be a home win here. Maybe add goals to it. Rayan and Enzo Lefebvre for shots on target. He started his Bournemouth career really well. I take the 4-5. I think Sunderland are having a real wobble. You know, they've shown that at their home form, and we know their away form's been poor all season. So Bournemouth home win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that thing. It's Sunderland just lost a bit of momentum, haven't they? They were really poor, weren't they, on home soil last weekend against Fulham. That's Saturday, 12:30. We've got 3 3:00 games on Saturday, including Burnley, Brentford. Brentford did lose at home to Brighton last time out. Despite that, still 7th in the table, 5 behind both Chelsea and Liverpool. Burnley fighting hard down at the bottom, a good point, a hard 4-point last weekend at Chelsea, but still 9 adrift of safety. Burnley have won just 4 of their last 34 Premier League home games, and 3 of those 4 wins have come against fellow promoted sides. Brentford have won 4 of their last 5 Premier League away games. That's more than they had in their previous 13. And again, Lee, I feel like I'm going to build maybe a nice little lacquer here for the talkSPORT Goals preview show. And I think that has to include Brentford at Burnley, right?
Yeah, similarly, kind of touch of odds on, fair enough. Burnley 16-5, so, you know, they're over 3-1 at home, 27-10 the draw. A couple of the final one standing pots that are close to going this weekend. I've got Brentford as the most picked in there. Basically, the tactic for most people this season in final one standing is oppose Wolves or Burnley if you can, and then go to another plan if that doesn't work or you've run out of teams. I totally agree. I think Burnley have registered the fewest shots on target, 80. And faced the most, 154 of any team in the division. Now get this, Igor Thiago's got 17 goals from 34 shots. That's 1 in 2. Scored 2 against Burnley at home. He has a couple of games where he plays really well. You look at his stats, and whether you agree with those kind of marks out of 10 that websites give them, but we've got to base it on something. So that was in one of those patches where he had a couple of really good games. Then he goes on this kind of 6-game run where his rating drops to 5 or even 6 out of 10, fairly big drop, like 2 points down.
Off, yeah.
He's just had one of those runs of like poor games after playing brilliantly against Sunderland and Everton in January. He's due another good game. So back him to score by all means. Back him 2 or more. This is a little outrageous, but the hat trick is 12-1. You get impact subs. So let's say he does get 2, goes off, and someone comes on. They can get your hat trick for you. I know it's a bit out. I never usually put like hat tricks, but 12, bit of a fun one. But look, if you want to be sensible about it, go Brentford to win and Igor Thiago to score.
I think also Brentford's run of games after Bournemouth, Wolves, Leeds, Everton. So I think, I'm thinking from a fantasy football point of view as well. Lots of people looking at sort of Brentford players to try and get involved, and perhaps to back up your point, this could be a good time maybe for Igor Thiago to find some form. Liverpool, West Ham is a big game, isn't it? Saturday, 3 o'clock for both sides. Liverpool, 3 wins and 4. 6th in the table, same points as Chelsea, 3 behind United. West Ham are still 18th in the table, but it's now just 2 points behind Forest. West Ham have won 11 points from their last 6 Premier League games. That's as many as they had from their previous 18. Will they add to that on Saturday at Anfield, Lee?
Don't think so. 4-11 Liverpool, 6-1 West Ham, 19-5 the draw. I think their resurgence has been overplayed a little bit. Look, they're definitely obviously improved a lot from what they were early in the season. I don't know if teams mark off where they're going to pick points up. I probably don't do that. We think they do in the media, but they won't have this one down on their list of any of the 13 points I think they need from the remaining 11 games. So anything here is an absolute bonus for West Ham. Free hit, they can just have a go. Nuno's got a pretty poor record against Liverpool, lost 8 league games against them. That's the most of any opposition for Nuno. Cody Gakpo scored more goals against West Ham than any other side, got 6 there. Jared Bowen scored a couple at Anfield. I don't know what you think. Obviously, you're much closer to Liverpool than I am, but it seems like Van Dijk's improved form seems to have flowed up through the team. They've tightened up at the back. The Forest win was the 3rd successive victory without conceding. So I'm going to go Liverpool win and under 2.5 goals, Sam. That gives you a 1-0 Liverpool and a 2-0 Liverpool, and it's a smidgen under 4-1 at 19-5. I
like that. Also, Van Dijk has been good. Konate as well. His form since the turn of the year has really, really improved. The sort of first half of the year, he was really, really struggling for him. I like that. I think we are looking a lot better. Liverpool are looking a lot better defensively and looking more organised, but certainly from an offensive point of view, we are struggling to break teams down. Salah and Gakpo have been out of form, and it's just teams that come to Anfield, like Burnley, Leeds, Sunderland, have all drawn at Anfield this season. You come with a low block, you can frustrate Liverpool. Interested looking at West Ham and it being a free hit. I'm just looking, as you were speaking, at some of their home games they've got coming up between now and the end of the season. Just home games include Wolves, Everton, Leeds United, and they also play teams like Crystal Palace. There are, you say they need 13 points to stay up. There will be games West Ham have got between now and the end of the season to get those points that they need. Newcastle Everton, final Saturday 3 o'clock game, 11th v 9th. 1 point separates the two sides. A stat that blew my mind, Lee. Everton have won the 2nd most away points in the Premier League since David Moyes' first away game back in charge. And that was all the way back in last January. So over a year period, only one team in the league have won more than Everton, which almost doesn't sound real, Lee, does it?
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, and this season, they're the 6th best team on the road. They've got the best defence away from home, better than Arsenal's. 12 goals have conceded. Only Tottenham, West Ham and Wolves have got worse home defences than Newcastle, by the way. Another mad stat. Newcastle are a touch of odds on here. 11-4 the draw, 100-13 Everton. I'm going to go Everton.
Really?
I'm going to go 1-0 Everton as well. They won 1-0 at Man United, 1-0 at Bournemouth, 1-0 at Aston Villa. And that was in January, not when they were rubbish at the start of the season, Aston Villa. 12-1 for a correct score of 1-0. I know that, again, if you don't like correct scores, I think 100-30, 10-3, Everton is a good enough price. I think they go there and they shock Newcastle.
We've done Friday and Saturday. We've got one more to do on Saturday, Lee, don't we? And I can't forget the big one, Leeds versus Man City. Saturday, 5:30. City start the weekend 5 behind Arsenal with a game in hand. Arsenal play on Sunday. Leeds are 6th clear of 18th place West Ham. And a lot, rightly so, Lee, has been made of Leeds' form under the lights. Now, it's getting a little bit lighter, isn't it, as we enter the end of February. But I still think Saturday, 5:30, a lot of the game will be played not in the sunshine. Leeds United haven't lost any of their last 25 league or playoff matches at Ellen Road that have kicked off after 5 p.m, winning 20 and drawing 5, which is a fun stat and a great stat. So should we just give it to Leeds here? Is there any point in Man City turning up to Ellen Road, given that it's starting after 5 p.m?
It's a mad stat, isn't it? It really is. We often use stats that kind of compare teams. You'll say, oh, they're head-to-head. City have got a great record against someone going back to whatever, 20 games. Well, different managers, different players, different conditions. But this one really seems to be something about Leeds under the lights that really gets them going. Look, I can see them having a go here, for all the reasons, all the cliched reasons of being under the lights. And you're right, the sun sets probably a little after, maybe around 5:30 now, but it'll be dark enough. Maybe a good second half.
Good in the second half, yeah. They might be 2 down at half time, but then be really good second half.
Yeah, we should look at that. City win the first half, Leeds win the second half. But it will be. And what have they got to lose here? Leeds just go. Why not just go for it? But also on the flip side, City must win. I think that the mentality for City has to be, we win every game. And then anything that they drop off, right, you deal with that. And they're 8-13 to win at Ellen Road, Man City. It's fair enough. I mean, 8-13 for a lot of people. For me, I'm not a huge odds-on punter at all. If someone's 2-1 on, I start to look for a bit of value. But 8-13 is kind of palatable for me. That is an odds-on price. Sure. So I'd be happy to back City at that. I think I'd add in both teams to score. I'd also be looking at a bet builder on this game. Cracker for a Saturday evening. You get impact sub with your player picks. Foden's got a good record against them. Got 2 in the reverse fixture, 3 goals and 3 assists in total against them. Obviously, it's Haaland's kind of childhood club, isn't it? He supported them as a kid, obviously being born and growing up in Leeds when his dad was there. So Haaland, you chuck in there. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I always mention him, but he scored at the Etihad in the reverse game. So I'd be looking at this being a good game, plenty of goals and plenty of shots on target. I'll go City to win it with both teams to score.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great game, a great atmosphere. That's Saturday done. Sunday, Lee, what a show we got, by the way. We always have a good show, don't we, on the weekend on talkSPORT Goals. But this Sunday in particular feels like a massive one with Arsenal, Chelsea at 4:30. 3 big games at 2 o'clock in the Premier League. But we're on air at an earlier time of 12 o'clock on Sunday because there is the small matter in the William Hill Scottish Premiership of the old firm, Celtic Rangers. Hearts top on 60. Rangers have got 56. Celtic have got 54, but they've got a game in hand. This weekend, absolutely massive. How do you see this game going?
Yeah, well, Hearts are now favourites for the William Hill Scottish Premiership. First time they've been favourites, in between game weeks, if you like. At times when they've won on a Saturday and the other teams haven't played. They're 6-4 to win the title. Rangers are 15-8 and Celtic 2-1. Motherwell, by the way, I mentioned, are 20-1. They won't win it, but I think they're going to have a big say in things. 5-4 Rangers to win this one. 12-5 the draw. 15-8 for a Celtic win. Rangers have only lost 2 games all season long, by the way. I know they've not had a great season, but they've drawn 11, Sam. Yeah. So I think the score draw has to be in your thoughts here.
Celtic lost 5 more games than Rangers this season in the league.
But they're just drawing
if they win the game in hand,
Yeah. If Hearts have beaten Aberdeen on the Saturday, this is obviously must win for both. And I would put in both teams to score. That would be, before the game starts, there'd be a 7 and 9 point gap between Hearts. So they have to win the game. They'll both have to go for it. But yeah, cracker, can't wait to cover it. Chimiti has scored 7 league goals this season for Rangers. 4 against Hearts and 2 against Celtic in that 3-1 win in the league. So maybe have a look at him to get on the score sheet. But yeah, really looking forward to covering it. The games have been, unbelievable, the atmosphere. I know a few of the guys who we work with up in Scotland are going to all the games and they say it's unreal. Can't wait.
Yeah, Sunday, 12 o'clock. Looking forward to that. When that's done, we then turn our attention very quickly back to the Premier League. 3 big games at 2 o'clock. Fulham Spurs. Spurs are 16th, just 4 points above 18th place West Ham. Fulham ended a run of 3 defeats in a row by winning at Sunderland last weekend. Matt Josley, please. And also the price for Spurs to go down.
Oh God! I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable how much this has changed. I mean, I was talking a few weeks ago about how they were a shorter price as I could find going back to 2008 when Juan de Ramos had that nightmare start to the season. Well, they've gone even shorter. I mean, the figures don't kind of obviously the records aren't quite as good as we keep now, like where you can just Google anything. But when you look at I found 9-2 for them to go down that season. I'm just looking now to make sure I don't get the price wrong for the current price. Let's see if it's gone any shorter. But 4-1 now, 4-1 to be relegated. That's unbelievable. The 23-10 to get a win here at Fulham, 11-10 the home win, 12-5 the draw. Why are Fulham odds against at home to Tottenham? The games that we've talked about, Bournemouth, Sunderland, odds on. You know, why are Fulham odds against? They've won the last 2 against Spurs, 2-0 and 3-0. So this is a worse team than last season and the season before that. I just think Fulham at home are a good bet. I mean, like, I'd be putting them in. I know you can't rely on Fulham all the time, but they've had a good season. They're off the back of that great win at Sunderland. I don't know why you wouldn't back them. And like, if you're looking for an Aka, I think this would go in. Aka boost, you need 4 or more picks. Whether you've had one on Saturday, I think this is another one. Harry Wilson to score as well. 6 of his 8 league goals have been at Craven Cottage. He's 13-8 to score at any time. He's 4-1 to score first. Fulham home win.
Big game in the relegation battle at 2, as is Brighton v Forest. Forest start the weekend in between West Ham and Spurs. 2 ahead of West Ham, really unlucky to lose against Liverpool last weekend. Only bottom side Wolves have failed to score in more Premier League games this season than Forest. Meanwhile, Brighton ended a 6-game winless Premier League run with a 2-0 win. Brentford last time out, big win for them. How do you see this one going, Lee?
Yeah, just a touch of odds against again here. Brighton 21-20 at home to Forest. Forest 23-10, 12-5 the draw. I think this is fair enough because Forest, I think, are a better team than Tottenham and they've got more fight in them. There's been a few draws recently in this fixture, and Brighton have drawn 4 of the last 6 at home. If Forest keep getting draws away from home, I think they'll be safe. They're averaging a point a game. I think 38 does it this season, like I keep saying. So I think Forest might play for a draw. I know it's not easy to do that. I wonder, though, if Brighton are entering a good phase. You talked about the likes of Bournemouth and probably Brentford, where they had these peaks and troughs. Since November the 1st, Brighton went 4 unbeaten, went 6 without a win, went 4 unbeaten, went 5 without a win, and just beat Brentford. So maybe they're just entering one of those little spells where they go 4 unbeaten. The score draw is 7-2. I'll take that.
Yeah. Trying to work out what sort of Brighton side you're going to get. They can be play some really good football at times. And Matoma and Minter and Ruta are all linking well, and then you can watch them and think, how on earth are these guys in the Premier League? One more Sunday 2 o'clock game is Man United v Palace. United 5 wins and 6 under Michael Carrick, 4th in the table, 3 behind 3rd place Aston Villa. Palace have won 4 of their last 6 away league games at Old Trafford, but Palace's recent form starting to get a little better. Have won 2 of their last 3 Premier League games, picking up twice as many points in those games as they did in their previous 9 games combined. But I'm guessing, given United's form here, Lee, they're pretty short at home?
4-7, yeah, short enough, aren't they? 16-5 the draw, 4-1 Palace, and we know we don't know as we record this if Palace are through in Europe, but we do know they're playing in Europe. And either way, whether they get through or not, we know that playing on a Thursday and Sunday isn't something that they've been good at. Since August, they've won 1 game on their return. That was last week against Wolves. I think United go after them, and I think they get goals against them. We know what the MO has been. And I think, with Mbumo, Cunha, Bruno, and what about Šeško, by the way? We talk about impact sub a lot. He's got 3 goals in 88 minutes on the pitch in his last 4 games. So he's come on for I think Cunha twice and maybe Ahmad last week, I think it was. But he keeps getting goals. So if you're having a bet on, whether it's a bet builder or you're having a scorer bet on Mbumo, Cunha, Bruno, I'd probably put them 3 shots on target into a bet builder. And then Šeško might help you out with the impact sub when he comes on. But yeah, it suddenly really seemed to have found his feet, and he's scoring some good goals.
Scoring great goals, isn't he? All of those goals are well-taken goals.
Yeah, really good. So look, he might start, to be honest with you, but I think they've got such a good strike force, and the confidence is flowing through them. And Palace try to soak up will try and soak it up. I just don't think they'll have the firepower. And I think if Man United have got a lead, I don't think Palace will have the legs to get back into it in the second half.
3 Sunday 2 o'clock games done. We then finish with the big one of the weekend, Arsenal versus Chelsea. It's the Sunday 4:30 game, and his second game in charge of Arsenal in December 2019. Mikel Arteta lost 2-1 at the Emirates Stadium against Chelsea, but since then, his Gunners side have lost just one of their next 15 games against the Blues in all competitions, and beat them twice in the League Cup semi-final earlier this year. I'm intrigued to know what sort of price you're giving. You're giving Chelsea, who are in the hunt for top 4 football. Did win 4 in a row under Rossini, but then drew home games against Leeds and Burnley last Saturday. Do they get out? I take it they just about get above the 3-1 price that you always talk about.
4-1.
No.
Tempting. It is a bit. I think it is. It is tempting because we know Arsenal, aren't absolutely rock solid, and we know Chelsea on their day, are very capable, and they seem to put better performances in against the better teams. Chelsea. I do worry about the discipline. You were there last week and you saw, another red card, which
more red cards lead than anyone else this season. I think it's 19 points from winning positions they've dropped this season. I mean, that is absolutely criminal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'd be looking at 6 to 8 cards in this game. That would have landed in 5 of the last 6 between these two clubs. Arsenal have chipped in themselves as well, by the way. I always enjoy the Cucurella-Saka battle. Maybe take both over one foul. Saka chucks in a few fouls. You'd be surprised, and Cucurella, obviously, they just seem to have that thing. And whether, whoever Cucurella's up against, he's always likely to pick up a card, isn't he? So I like that. I think Arsenal are just too good. They're 8-13 to win this game, which there's not many teams that you'll get Arsenal 8-13 about. I'd also maybe look at the shots on target from Hincapié or Saliba. Chelsea were labelled as one of the worst at defending set pieces. I think it was all over kind of like social media last week. And then one of their players forgot their assignment against Burnley, didn't they? The game that you saw. So there's obviously something that's not quite right there. And if you are the worst or one of the worst at defending set pieces in the league, you don't want Arsenal coming at you, do you? So like I say, Hincapié and Saliba both registering shots on target from set pieces, so you get a slightly better price than the strikers. But yeah, I think Arsenal to win. You just don't know what Chelsea's going to turn up, do you?
Yeah, they're very, very inconsistent this season, Chelsea. And again, I watched them last week against Burnley. They were really, really poor, even when they had 11 men. Lee, when you give, all of your wisdom and stuff, I sort of take notes and try and work out what team I like to win. Normally, I end up of the 10 Premier League games, I go 6 or 7 draws. I just find myself sitting on the fence with so many games and getting nowhere. But this weekend, I like a lot of teams. As you've been talking, I've been putting together a little lacquer of my own, which looks nice, I think. Villa to win at Wolves, Bournemouth home to Sunderland, Brentford at Burnley, Liverpool home to West Ham, City at Leeds, United home to Palace, which I think you all agree with what you said. I did put in another one which you're not in, but I did go Newcastle to beat Everton at home, and that gives odds of 34-1.
Even without Newcastle, I think you're looking at 20-1.
Yeah, so you maybe think, so maybe not Newcastle, and you don't like Newcastle, do you?
But even because I was following you along with that. So I mean, it's well worth a look. There'll be the usual ACCA bet and get where you place an ACCA on your football and you get a free one to use as well over the weekend. So if you have a Saturday one, then you can have another ACCA on both teams to score. Oh, by the way, look out for the epic boost as well on all the big games. Obviously, we've got the kind of the we say TV games, on the Friday night, on the Saturday and on the Sunday. There's going to be some cracking epic boosts on some of those as well.
Lee, great work as always. Looking forward to seeing you Sunday for talkSPORT Goals. Should be a belter of a weekend of sport.
Can't wait for the marathon.
We're looking forward to it. This has been the talkSPORT Goals preview show, brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill Waiting Plus, gambleaware.org. And this Sunday, talkSPORT Goals is coming to you live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel and on your smart TVs at a slightly earlier time of midday for the old firm, Rangers versus Celtic. Then we got 3 games at 2 o'clock in the Premier League, and Arsenal-Chelsea Sunday 4:30. talkSPORT Goals this Sunday, live from 12 p.m.